Welcome back everybody. This is part 33 on What If Kid Asta Meets Noelle's Mother. I do not own Black Clover or any of the characters in this video. They belong to their own respected authors. Chapter 42. Asir and Ren were quick to reach the Silva Manor, already seeing possessed elves attacking the humans there. Quickly they flew in, swiftly striking them down before they could harm anyone. Find any others and escape now, Ren yelled to one of the servants. The servant looked at Ren and Queen Asir and shakily nodded. Right, the servant stammered before running off. This is a mess, Ren grunted, looking around. I'm gonna bitch slap Patry once I see him again. Oh dear, Queen Asir spoke. I hope that doesn't. Before she can finish, she and Ren hear Nibra and Solid cry out before silence in said direction of where Nibra and Solid were located within House Silva. Sounds like your kids, Ren frowned. They're in trouble. Queen Asir frowned deeply. I remember Noelle contacted me before you and I went up to face Patry earlier this evening that he put Nibra and Solid in charge of defending Noelle. He also put Asta and Lieb in charge of the same job just in case anyone gets past Nibra and Solid. And from the looks of it, someone did. While she was talking, she unconsciously began to speed up, her fast walking turning into a stride. Best hurry. Ren frowned, flying forward. Queen Asir didn't respond, just continued to stride, which then turned into a run. They swiftly hurried and made a turn to witness a familiar compass needle nearly hitting Solid before he quickly moved out of the way. God damn it. Solid grit his teeth in frustration. You humans are all the same. Elf-possessed Litoil spoke coldly, firing more compass needles at Nibra and Solid. And for that sin alone, you shall all die. Before the needles could hit either Nibra or Solid, in a flash of light they were struck away by Ren, her sword in hand, as she stared at Litoil with a frown. I thought so. No doubt a large portion of the Golden Dawn magic knights are possessed, you being no exception, Litoil, Ren remarked. Elf-possessed, Litoil gasped in slight surprise that her compass needles failed to impale both Nibra and Solid. Then she turned to face Ren, and her purple eyes narrowed at the sight of Ren. Her compass needles were forming around her, ready to strike at Ren. Humph! An elf like you defending the repulsive human race? Despicable. Elf-possessed Litoil scowled deeply at Ren. You can join them in death. Compass magic, needle storm, light spirit magic, holy seraph swords dance. Ren frowned, snapping her fingers. In an instant, swords of light were launched in a graceful arch, dispelling the compass needles in an instant. To the shock of the elf-possessed Leotile, normally my compass magic would be able to do just fine against light magic, elf-possessed Litoil thought, but she's in another league entirely. Thanks for the save, Ren, Nibra spoke up. Then she took notice of her mother, slightly surprised to see her. Mother? But I thought that Noelle told me Solid and Noelle that you were. That eldest son of yours loves to think the worst-case scenario it seems, Ren sighed, sheathing her sword once more. Well, to be fair, I haven't contacted him since we left Clover Castle to help Julius against Patry, Queen Asir remarked sheepishly. Regardless, it's better to assume the worst-case scenario than have high hopes in case something like this happens again. We didn't believe him, of course, Nibra added. Least, not 100. Yeah, Solid nodded, regaining his composure somewhat. I mean, this is Mother we're talking about here. She won't go down so easily. I had forgotten that this human counterpart of mine was aware of the fact that Asir Silva, former head of Royal House Silva, was now the queen of the Clover Kingdom. Elf-possessed, Litoil spoke up, breaking up the family reunion. In that case, I'll get praised for killing someone as high up on the totem pole you humans have forged within the Clover Kingdom. High talk from such a little fledgling like yourself, Ren hummed. You can bark the bark, but can you make the bite? Compass magic, willful compass, elf-possessed, Litoil retorted. A compass appeared in front of elf-possessed Litoil. Let's see if you humans can do a damn thing about this. She paused, then added, regardless if you can or can't, I will kill every last one of your kind. I can promise you that much. Oh, really? Nibra questioned, stepping forward. I'll admit, you caught me in Solid by surprise when you first showed up. Her lips curved into a smile. But now I know how to deal with your magic. Miss Magic, Miss Body. At the declaration, Nebra's body became transparent. What the hell will that accomplish? Elf-possessed? Litoil questioned, unimpressed. Queen Asir smiled, then whispered to Ren. That spell makes Nibra immune to physical and magical attacks as long as it's active. Now I see. Which means it can counteract Willful Compass's ability as well, given its one weakness, Ren remarked, while the two conversed. Nebra's mist body's second effect was also in effect. While in said state, Nebra was able to move around the corridor at high speed, as if teleporting. Elf-possessed Letoile grit her teeth in frustration and fired off a few more needle storms, but it was to no avail. They simply went right through Nebra. "Why can't I hurt you, elf-possessed?" Letoile demanded. "Huh. Guess you haven't faced many mist magic users." Nebra grinned as she reappeared in front of elf-possessed Letoile. "This spell makes me immune to any and all magical and physical attacks, with the exception of anti-magic of course, but enough games." Her right fist became imbued with mist magic. "Normally I'd toy with my opponents, but for you elves that wish to exterminate our kind just because of something that wasn't under our control, then you deserve this. Mist magic. Eruption, propulsion, fist." Her mist magic imbued right hand's fist punched elf-possessed Letoile straight in the face, thus sending her flying backwards and through the wall. Willful Compass had deactivated as well as a result. After that, Nebra also deactivated her mist body spell. "Humph, seriously, what is with the elves from the Clover Kingdom?" Nebra asked, crossing her arms. She heard her mother cough, then gestured to Ren with a shaking head. Nebra's sweat dropped then sighed. "No offense to you, Ren, but you know what I mean, right? It's fine. I can understand your agitation despite the fact the tribe was manipulated by a devil. This whole mess only started because of that dumbass Patry." Ren scowled. "Damn that elf brat." Solid gnashed his teeth. "Pot, meat kettle." Ren deadpanned, making Solid squawk. "For right now, we need to knock out all the elf-possessed humans here and restrain them until we can end the spell. The spell that brought them back is part of the forbidden magic section known as reincarnation magic." Queen Aesir frowned. "Because of this, Asta, or rather, Lieb, can't use the Demon Slayer sword to undo this reincarnation magic spell. There's a third sword that they'd need in order to undo it." She paused then added, "Its name is the Demon Destroyer sword. I'm sure that's another one of my grandfather's swords. The problem is that we don't know its location." Ren frowned. "If I had to guess, it's in the Eye of the Midnight Sun base." Noelle spoke as he approached them from leaving his captain's office. The Eye of the Midnight Sun a while back wanted to obtain the Demon Dweller sword back in the dungeon that Asta, Noelle, and Solid were assigned about a year ago. "I could send a familiar to find one of the magic knights we sent there and relay a message, but we don't know how many of them were either defeated in battle or became possessed." Ren grimaced. "Let's just focus on making sure that Noelle is alright," Noelle remarked. "Good point." Ren frowned, dispelling her spirit dive, and Faye flew next to her shaking his head. "Hopefully we don't have to." Goddammit. Patry broke through the window. "Don't just stand there, moron. Protect your wife, Noelle," Aesir shrieked. "Shit," Ren hissed, kicking the door down. Upon doing so, Ren, Aesir, Noelle, Nebra, and Solid see Patry facing off against Asta and Lieb. "Die humans," Patry growled, firing light magic. Light swords of conviction and light magic. Sky-rending flash at the two. Lieb used the Demon Slayer sword to deflect the spells, while Asta used the Demon Dweller sword to absorb the excess power of Patry's spells and send them back at him. Noelle grunted. "If only I wasn't in this position, I could fight." Patry turned to Noelle and fired light magic. Light swords of conviction at her. Die, 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 die. Just before the light swords could impale Noelle, a sword slash intersected and destroyed them. Noelle lowered her right arm from her face and looked up. "What the?" Noelle breathed softly, then gasped upon realizing who was within her and Asta's bedroom. "That mana, it's so similar to." She looked at Ren, then back at the figure who blocked Patry's attack. Ren's mana. Queen Aesir, Noelle, Nebra, Solid, Asta, and Lieb also gaped in surprise to see a tall, slender-framed elf with white skin and somewhat effeminate facial features and gold eyes, as well as two sets of tattoos on his cheeks, a vertical line under each eye and in the middle of his forehead, 4 dots forming a diamond bordered by curved lines. Said elf was also wearing a white tunic with a blue belt wrapped around at the waist area. In his right hand was a white sword with a hilt that had a circle on its top. At the edge of the blade was the insignia for the 3-leaf clover. Upon seeing the elf before them, Ren couldn't help but grow wide-eyed, sensing his mana. This mana, this feeling, it can't be, Ren thought, shocked. Licked Patry questioned. "I'm happy to see you, but why are you defending the humans?" "I was on my way to unseal my friend with the magic stones," Licked explained, "but then I sensed trouble here, so I made a detour." Licked. "So then that's really him. That's my," Ren thought with a nervous swallow. "Trouble?" Patry repeated, clearly not understanding that Licked was referring to him. "What do you mean?" Noelle regained her composure and groaned and rolled her eyes at Patri's stupidity. "You're the trouble, dumbass," Noelle snapped. "Duh," Faye yelled. "Shut up," Patri snarled, creating a light sword for him to hold in his hands before leaping towards Noelle again. Like before, he gets stopped. He grits his teeth, then looks up to see Licht standing in front of Asta and Noelle's shared bed. Patri stepped back and dropped his light sword out of surprise. "Licht, why?" He shook his head in frustration and grabbed his light sword off the ground and pointed it at Licht. "All right, fine. You want to play that way. Go ahead. And to think I looked up to you." "Oh, shut the hell up," Ren snapped, her agitation spiking again. "You only just cling to him practically like the parasite you are." Patri swiftly turned to face Ren and gnashed his teeth in anger. "You," Patri snarled, firing another round of light swords of conviction at Ren, with ease and swiftness. Ren unsheathed her sword and slashed through the swords of light. "Still can't aim for shit either," Ren spat, face shaking his head in disappointment. Queen Asir, Nozel, Nibra, Solid, Noelle, Asta, and Liebal facepalmed at Patri's words and his attempt to strike at Ren. "Still haven't learned a thing." Queen Asir sighed. "Patri, I've tried to tell you multiple times that the humans aren't responsible for what happened to Licht's tribe. If it was our fault, Licht wouldn't have defended my youngest daughter." "Shut up," Patri roared. "I have had enough with your emo-sorry rear," Ren snapped. "I can now see you're not possessing William's body anymore, which is good for me. Now I can kick your sorry tail without having to hurt him and give you a punishment fitting for your narrow-minded, narcissistic, moronic, hypocritical ego. Kek, gonna need a healer for that burn." Lieb laughed. "I'd never seen Ren angry before," Asta gasped, "and it's scary." Noelle's sweat dropped. "Here I thought she didn't have an angry bone in her body." Nozel's sweat dropped, sighing at Nibra and Solid hiding behind him. "I'm not surprised by Ren's outburst." Queen Asir frowned, putting a hand to her forehead. "This happened earlier tonight too." Licht looked over at Ren curiously. Her hair is dark blue, but she has elf ears, as well as a darker shade of Tisha's eyes. Licht thought, "Is she, Tisha?" Licht wondered aloud, referring to Ren. "Is that you?" "I'm not Grandma, damn it," Ren snapped, turning to Licht and stiffened. "Ah, well that thinned the ice." Faye grinned. "Oh, I see," Licht replied. "But if you don't mind me asking, who are you?" "I know you're an elf based on the ears, but that's it." Ren's sweat dropped, rubbing the back of her head before she sighed and looked at Licht straight in the eye. "My full name is Ren Silvermillion Clover Ombra. I am the tribe leader of elves in the Heart Kingdom and granddaughter to Tisha Silvermillion Clover, sister to the first wizard king Lumiere Silvermillion Clover. In other words, I'm your granddaughter." Licht opened his mouth in surprise, then closed it, his lips forming a light smile. "Yes, that sounds about right," Licht replied. "You having light magic should have been a giveaway. And speaking of Lumiere, I was planning to unseal him with the magic stones. He is my friend, and I believe he'll be of great help with what's going on right now." "Lumiere? Unseal him?" Ren blinked, shocked. "Oh, so the plot thickens," Faye remarked. "Yes," Licht nodded. "Before I came over here, I saw his body, now stone, on top of the demon skull right where my elf tribe used to be." "You mean your demon skull?" Ren deadpanned. "Oh, yes, my demon skull." Licht laughed sheepishly. "Still weird," Faye stated. "It really is." Ren sighed. "I'm talking to my dead grandpa while motioning to his demonic skeleton." "Dead?" Licht repeated. "I know I've been reincarnated, but still, if I am really dead, would I be able to do this?" He put his left hand on Ren's shoulder. Ren couldn't help but jump at the touch. She looked at Licht, the elf who had married her human grandmother centuries ago, who she never thought she'd actually meet, causing her to get choked up. "Reincarnated or not, it's really me," Licht told her, "and the fact that you're here means that my and Lumiere's dream never died." "That's right," Ren nodded. "My tribe in Elysia is a tribe of not just elves, but humans and elf-human hybrids as well. Just like myself, I lead my tribe in honor of yours and great-uncle Lumiere's dream for many decades." Licht smiled happily and proudly, resting his forehead on Ren's. "Then Tisha and I are truly grateful. Grateful to have a wonderful granddaughter like you." Once again Ren was choked up, closing her eyes and taking in the moment. Even Asta and Noelle couldn't help but tear up, while Queen Asir wrapped her arm around Ren and Licht. "You know, I should take a photo of you too," she told Licht and Ren, "to get another family photo to add to the collection." Licht looked at Asir, blinking in confusion, making Ren smile. "This is Asir Silva Clover, Queen of the Clover Kingdom and descendant to great-uncle Lumiere," she explained, Lick's initial confused expression turned into a light smile. I see, he replied. I can tell that you have Lumiere and Tisha's kindness, Lady Asir. Just Asir, after all, we're family. Asir smiled. All right, Lick nodded, though it'll take some getting used to for me, while Asir, Ren, and Lick were having a small family reunion. Patry got back up and charged up his light magic. Before he could fire any of his light magic spells, he got punched in the gut from Asir, which made him stagger backwards before falling on the ground. Back first. Hey, we're having a family reunion. Patry? Queen Asir frowned deeply before going back to wrap her arms around Lick and Ren. So keep it down. Huh, beat me to it, Ren remarked, holding down her sheathed sword. And don't even think about attacking Noelle again, Queen Asir warned Patry. Her purple eyes glowed for a second before returning to normal, or you're going to experience something worse than my steel magic. Hard fist strike. Ha, Solid laughed. Mother showed you. She could do it to you too, you know, Nibra muttered. But my vengeance, Patry spoke softly, was a complete waste of time. Noelle remarked coldly before turning on his heel and began to walk away. Now if you'll excuse me, I have business to take care of, and by business I take it, you mean your girlfriend, Ren asked, making Noelle trip and almost fall flat on his face. He felt his face heat up out of embarrassment, but didn't turn around to face Ren, his mother and siblings, who were all snickering. How did you know me and Courtney were an item? He asked Ren, not bothering to turn around. I told her. His mother giggled. Noelle groaned loudly in response to his mother's words. His face slowly became a darker shade of red. Of course you did. Nibra, Solid, Noelle, Asta, and Lieb all snickered as Noelle left the room, striding or storming off. Once he left, both Nibra and Solid did as well soon thereafter. Once the three left, silence arose within Asta and Noelle's bedroom. After what felt like a few hours, Licht finally spoke up. Well, if Patry isn't going to cause any more trouble, I will be going to where Lumiere is so I can unseal him, Licht explained, albeit speaking a bit awkwardly due to the silence prior. He turned to Ren. You are free to come with me, if you'd like. I would but, Ren finally took notice of the sword in Licht's hand. Grandfather, is that your sword? Licht questioned, looking down at the Demon Destroyer sword in his right hand. Oh yes, the Demon Destroyer sword is what it's named. Everyone gasped, staring at the sword. Huh? So the sword comes to us. Faye grinned. Pardon, Licht questioned, confused as he looked at Faye. Who are you? I am the spirit of light who is under contract with your granddaughter. You can call me Faye. Faye bowed. As for what I mean, your sword is key to undoing the reincarnation spell on the elves possessing the humans. Licht looked down at his sword, then back up at the others, taking notice of Asta and Lieb, who were holding his other two swords, the Demon Slayer and Demon Dweller swords. Licht mused, also noticing that his grimoire was now dark red and in front of Lieb, a devil. And with no mana, that means you're not the one that. The devil you're referring to is Zogred, Lieb interjected, scoffing. Don't compare me to him. I'm no manipulator. You'd suck at it too, Asta added with a grin. Noelle chuckled while Lieb snickered. Kek, good thing too. Lieb laughed. Licht looked at Lieb and Ren gently nudged him to get his attention. As crazy as it sounds, he is trustworthy, she assured him. Licht glanced over at Ren, nodding lightly. That's good to hear, he replied. Oh, Asir smiled. Ren dear, go with Licht to unseal your great uncle. Not the best way to spend family time. But hey, I'd take Licht's offer if I were you. I'll make sure Asta and Noelle are 100% alright before I catch up, if that's okay. If you're sure then, Ren nodded, glancing out, and while we move, we can take out some elf-possessed humans along the way. Yes, Licht nodded in agreement. You'll need my and Asta's help if you want to exorcise them all though. Noelle spoke up, lightly frowning. Through Roggel's purge magic, I can send a purge magic spell towards Asta while he holds the Demon Dweller sword. Then he can launch the spell into the air and have it rain down on them to do the job. That could work. But there's dealing with the Dark Disciples as well. Ren frowned. For now let's just focus on unsealing Lumiere and go from there, Faye remarked. Right, Queen Asir nodded. What about Patry? Asta asked, gesturing to the downed elf. Just leave him there. If he's not gonna be useful, he can just sit put in the corner like the misbehaved child that he is. Ren scoffed. The burns continue. Faye laughed. Patry did not respond. Kek. Besides, me and Asta will make sure he doesn't try to kill Noelle. Lee added. I can fight too, you know. Noelle scowled. Not when you're pregnant for the millionth time, Noelle. Ren hissed. Come again. Licht blinked. Oh, Asir giggled. In short, licked. I got Asta and Noelle to marry. Kek kek. In addition to purposefully putting the two in the same bed so Noelle would get pregnant, Lieb added, snickering. Lick looked to Ren. So matchmaking. And has she done this to you? He asked his granddaughter. Lick's question just made Lieb snicker even more, followed by Queen Asir, laughing lightly. Yes, everyone else answered. And before you ask, I'm not pregnant, Ren sighed. Oh, but you will eventually be, Ren dear, Asir sang. We are not talking about this now, Ren hissed, blushing pink. I'd suggest you go and get a head start before mother can catch up. Noelle suggested it to Licht and Ren before she frowned at her own suggestion. Although, it doesn't really matter. Mother will catch up pretty quick with how fast she is. Good point. Let's go, grandfather, Ren said. Licht turned to face Ren and nodded. All right. He spoke before sweat dropping. Realizing that he had broken one of the windows in the bedroom to get inside. I apologize for destroying the window to get in. Don't worry about it. Noelle waved her right hand dismissively. I'll get it fixed later. Licht nodded at Noelle's words, then flew out of the window he initially broke to get inside the Silva manor. Ren flew after him. Shortly after, Licht flew out of the broken window. Chi. Damn this. At the Black Bull's base, Magna and a pink-haired witch were fighting against an elf-possessed Luck, firing fire magic fireballs at him, but due to Luck's lightning magic, he evaded it with ease. Vanessa, help me out here. The pink-hat witch Vanessa groaned. I'm trying, Vanessa retorted. It's a good thing that Valeria and Elf Fana from Captain Fana's Amber Phoenix squad trained us for a time before all this craziness. Go run off somewhere after being possessed like Luck, but even so, haha, Elf paused. Luck laughed. Die humans, thunderbolt destruction. Several lightning bolts crackled and flew towards Vanessa and Magna. Die. Vanessa raised her right hand up, ready to summon her threads, while Magna fired more of his fire magic fireballs at elf-possessed Luck and his spells. Flame magic, exploding fireball, Magna countered, thus creating an explosion of lightning and fire, pushing the three of them back. Humph. Elf-possessed Luck grunted as he recovered, his sadistic smile returning. You run out of magic before I do. Worthless run of a human, just quit. You're far inferior compared to the rest of your disgusting kind. Snap out of it, Luck, Vanessa pleaded. Huh? Elf-possessed Luck turned to face Vanessa. What if I don't want to? Then we'll find a way, Vanessa retorted. Elf-possessed Luck stared at Vanessa for several seconds, unimpressed by what he deemed to be a weak vow. Whatever helps you sleep at night, human, Elf-possessed Luck retorted as his mana exertion increased. Lightning creation magic. Holy lightning boots, plus lightning creation magic, holy lightning gauntlets, and lightning magic, thunderbolt destruction. 3 spells at once. Both Magna and Vanessa thought in surprise. Damn it, where the hell is the bottomless pit known as Charmy? Magna groaned loudly. I don't know, Vanessa admitted. Who cares? Elf-possessed Luck grinned wickedly. Now magic conversion. Convert lightning to ice. Suddenly, all 3 of elf-possessed Luck's spells froze over. Wah! Elf-possessed Luck wondered aloud before turning to face a light bluette girl wearing the Black Bull's robe, as well as a dark blue skirt or dress, and a white shirt, her body shaking. Gray, Magna and Vanessa grinned somewhat tearfully. Elf-possessed Luck gnashed his teeth in slight anger and got his arms and legs freed by exerting more mana. Despite freeing himself, he winced in pain. Ah, goddammit, he growled. You'll pay for that. With lightning speed, he not only reformed his lightning creation magic, holy lightning boots and lightning creation magic, holy lightning gauntlets, but he also punched and kicked her, shocking her. Ah! Gray screamed before she fell to her hands and knees, her body smoking. Humph, that's what you get for interfering in my fight. Elf-possessed Luck scowled. You should have waited your turn. His skull vanished and was replaced with a dark smile. But no matter, you can die now instead. He kicked her in the chest area, causing her to fall flat on her back, her gray eyes twitching and her body shaking with fear. I shouldn't have interfered, Gray stuttered. Now what? Allow me to take over. A calming voice spoke in Gray's head. I can't have you die here. Who are you? Gray asked, regardless of who you are. I feel as if I should know you. My name is Oriel, the soothing voice replied, and I've been watching over you for quite some time. Your past, the way you were treated. You did not deserve that, my dear. Gray swallowed before mentally replying. Please help my squad members. Gray replied, albeit still stuttering. Even the possessed one. Please, I'll do what I can. The soothing voice replied. Ha. Elf-possessed Luck laughed as he put his lightning magic-imbued right foot on Gray's chest, sending his lightning magic through her body. This'll be the end of. But before he could finish, a bright white flash consumed Gray. He gaped in surprise before crying out as he got launched backwards. Even Magna and Vanessa gasped. Gray. Vanessa breathed. As soon as the bright light consumed Gray, it died down to reveal a slender, well-endowed older woman with purple eyes and matching long, wavy hair that covered her left eye. She possesses a pair of wings. She wears an elegant white keyhole blouse and a long dress. Elf-possessed Luck got out of his initial daze and narrowed his eyes at the newcomer. Who the hell are you? Elf-possessed Luck demanded angrily. The perplet with two white wings sprouting from her back looked up at Elf-possessed Luck before answering. My name is Oriole, Oriole replied. End of chapter 42. Link down to the comments if you want to read the rest of the story. I hope you all enjoy. Goodbye.